Intro. The Stoic realization. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. B1. Marcus Aurelius. There comes a moment in every man's life when silence speaks louder than desire, when your peace of mind begins to mean more than someone's attention. This moment, though painful, is sacred, because it's the awakening of self-respect. In a world that glorifies charm over character, validation over values, and attention over affection, a man must become his own philosopher. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. And if your thoughts are consumed by the wrong person, someone who drains you, doubts you, or deceives you, your inner kingdom begins to crumble. Today, we uncover what the Stoics would call the silent poisons, the hidden signs of a low-value woman. These aren't the obvious red flags. These are the subtle behaviors that slowly erode a man's confidence, his discipline, and his peace. The goal isn't judgment. The goal is awareness, Mom. Because awareness is the first step toward power. So take a deep breath. Let the noise fade. And let's begin with the wisdom of a man who ruled not just Rome but himself. Emotional chaos disguised as passion. Marcus Aurelius taught that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. A low-value woman lives in emotional turbulence. Chaos is her color, and drama is her comfort zone. She mistakes instability for intensity. One moment she adores you. The next, she's distant, cold, or accusatory. She will tell you that she's just passionate or emotional, but in truth her emotions rule her instead of her ruling them. The Stoics believed that the highest form of strength is emotional control, but to her, control feels like boredom, and peace feels like emptiness. She thrives on reactions, not reflection. A high-value woman brings calm. A low-value woman brings storms. Her power lies not in her warmth, but in her ability to keep you guessing, wondering what you did wrong, what she feels, or whether you're still enough. And the more you chase her emotional approval, the further you drift from your own peace. Marcus would say, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." So when a woman's mood dictates your mood, when her silence dictates your anxiety, you have surrendered your inner kingdom. This is the first hidden sign, a life filled with emotional unpredictability. Do not mistake drama for depth. Do not mistake tears for tenderness. A woman who cannot master her emotions will eventually make you a prisoner of yours. And that is not love, that is spiritual erosion. The Stoic response? Stay composed. Don't mirror her instability. Observe, detach, and ask yourself, does this energy bring peace to my soul or confusion to my spirit? If the answer is confusion, step back. For a man's strength is measured not by what he can tolerate, but by what he refuses to entertain. The constant need for validation, Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. The same applies to attention. A low-value woman is never full. Her validation hunger is endless. No matter how much love, reassurance, or loyalty you give, it's never enough. She's not seeking connection. She's seeking confirmation that she's still desired, still beautiful, still in control. Her ego feeds on attention the way the body feeds on air. Without it, she begins to suffocate. But unlike air, this hunger can never be satisfied, because it isn't born from love. It's born from insecurity. She will test you through comparison. She'll mention other men's attention, subtly remind you of who desires her, or post things online that invite comments and likes. This isn't affection, it's performance. A stage where she's both the actor and the audience, applauding herself through the eyes of others. Marcus would have called this the sickness of dependence on external praise. He warned that the man who lives for the approval of others becomes their slave. Now imagine binding your peace to someone who is bound to every opinion around her. That is not love. That is chaos dressed in beauty. A woman who constantly seeks validation will never validate you. Her focus is inward, but not in a reflective way. It's self-absorbed, not self-aware. And when you stop feeding her need for praise, she will not seek understanding. She will seek replacement. The Stoic path here is not bitterness, but boundaries. You must remember that true worth doesn't beg to be noticed. It reveals itself in silence. Protect your focus. Do not compete for someone's attention when you can command your own. Do not chase validation from those who cannot even validate themselves. The second hidden sign of a low-value woman is emptiness masked by confidence. She may appear bold, charming, magnetic, but her energy is borrowed, and once you stop feeding it, the illusion fades. A Stoic man sees beyond the mask. He values depth over display, and when he senses vanity instead of virtue, he walks away. Not in anger, but in clarity. Because the man who knows his worth no longer negotiates it. Manipulation hidden behind affection. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." A low-value woman understands this well, not through wisdom, but through instinct. She plays with perception. She shapes reality to serve her emotions. At first, she gives affection like a gift, warm, intense, overwhelming. You'll feel seen, understood, almost chosen by destiny itself. But soon that warmth becomes conditional. Every moment of closeness has a price. You'll notice the shift and affection turns to leverage. She might say things like, "If you really cared, you'd do this for me." Or, "You've changed since you stopped trying." She twists your virtues into vulnerabilities. Your kindness becomes weakness. Your loyalty becomes her weapon. Marcus would have seen this clearly. He warned that to live happily is an inward power of the soul. But a manipulative woman feeds on control, not peace. She tests your boundaries to confirm her power, and every time you yield, she learns something. How easily your emotions can be guided, how deeply you crave her approval. This isn't love. It's strategy. A low-value woman uses emotion the way a soldier uses armor, to protect her ego while disarming yours. She may cry to win arguments, withdraw affection to gain compliance, or remind you of what she's done for you. Not out of gratitude, but guilt. You'll start to feel like the relationship is a performance. You're not her partner. You're her audience. And the applause you once gave freely now feels demanded. Marcus would say, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look. In these moments, that strength must be your compass. Do not argue with manipulation, withdraw from it. Because when love becomes a battlefield, wisdom is the only weapon worth using. A man of value does not fight for control. He reclaims his peace. That is the Stoic response. Silence, distance, clarity. And remember this, when someone's affection becomes a tool, you owe them not your explanation, but your absence. Disrespect for boundaries and values, Marcus Aurelius said. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. But a low-value woman will not respect the man you're trying to become. She'll challenge it, mock it, or quietly chip away at it. Boundaries are sacred to the Stoic. They are the walls of your inner citadel, the fortress that guards your peace. But to a low-value woman, boundaries feel like rejection. She will test them constantly, not because she seeks closeness but control. You tell her you need time to focus on your work. She calls you distant. You ask for honesty. She gives half-truths wrapped in charm. You try to communicate calmly. She provokes you to anger, then blames your reaction. In her world, your boundaries don't exist unless they serve her. And slowly you begin to shrink yourself just to keep the peace. But that peace isn't peace, and it's compliance disguised as love. Marcus warned of this when he said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." The Stoic man understands. Disrespect is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of her nature. A woman who laughs at your discipline, who mocks your goals, who belittles your efforts to grow, reveals her own insecurity. She cannot celebrate your progress because it reminds her of her stagnation. She cannot respect your boundaries because she has none within herself. And so every time you compromise your values to keep her happy, you trade your crown for her comfort. The Stoic truth is simple. You cannot protect your peace while entertaining someone who profits from your chaos. The fourth hidden sign of a low-value woman is disrespect. Subtle, constant, corrosive. It's not always shouted. Sometimes it's in the tone, the sarcasm, the eye roll, the backhanded compliment. And every time you let it slide, you teach her that your dignity is negotiable. The antidote is quiet strength. Not confrontation, not anger, but certainty. You simply stop arguing for your worth and start living it. Because when a man respects himself, he no longer explains his standards, he enforces them. The illusion of independence, Marcus Aurelius, taught that nothing has such power to broaden the mind as the ability to investigate systematically and truly all that comes under your observation. If you observe closely, you'll notice that many low-value women wear independence like armor, but it's made of glass. She will tell you she needs no one. She will project confidence, success, and self-sufficiency, but watch carefully. Beneath the surface, her independence is built on fear, not freedom. A truly high-value woman moves from strength. A low-value one moves from survival. She resents dependence because she equates it with weakness. So instead of partnership, she chooses control. She avoids vulnerability, dismisses emotional depth, and hides behind sarcasm when you try to connect. To her, surrender is loss. To the Stoic, surrender is wisdom, the art of letting go of what you cannot control. A low-value woman hasn't learned this. She clings to her pride the way a drowning person clings to water. She can't trust because she hasn't healed. So she calls her avoidance standards, her coldness self-respect, and her detachment freedom. But in truth, she's trapped in the fear of being seen, loved, or understood. Marcus would have recognized her suffering and said, "Reject your sense of injury," and the injury itself disappears. Yet she keeps replaying old wounds, blaming new men for old pain. She says she's protecting herself, but really, she's protecting her ego. And if you try to love her beyond her walls, you'll find yourself bleeding on her barbed wire, because you cannot save someone who is addicted to their own armor. The fifth hidden sign, then, is the illusion of independence, when confidence is just a mask for fear, and control is just a shield against connection. The Stoic path here is compassion with distance. You don't hate her. You don't judge her. You simply understand and let go. Because wisdom isn't changing others. It's mastering yourself in their presence. The man who walks away from illusion walks toward truth. And in that truth he finds what Marcus Aurelius found long ago. That peace is not in having others understand you, but in no longer needing them to. The price of attachment, Marcus Aurelius said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." And few things prove this truth more painfully than attachment to the wrong person. A low-value woman may not destroy your life in one moment. She will do it slowly, silently, by drawing you into emotional dependency. You begin to measure your day by her mood. You wait for her message, her validation, her approval, the small tokens that once made you feel alive. What begins as affection turns into addiction. You start to mistake anxiety for love. When she pulls away, you chase her. When she returns, you forgive instantly. It becomes a cycle. Reward and withdrawal, affection and absence. Marcus would have recognized this as slavery of the mind. He warned, "He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe." But you cannot live in harmony when someone else dictates your peace. The Stoic path teaches that attachment without awareness leads to suffering, and the most dangerous attachment is not to a person but to a fantasy, the idea of who you think they are, or who you wish they could become. You hold on because of potential, not reality. You tell yourself, "She used to be so loving," as if the past version of her still exists. But that woman was the mask. The real one stands before you, unpredictable, manipulative, and emotionally detached. Yet still you stay. Not because she's special, but because you've forgotten who you were before her. You've lost yourself in her validation. You've mistaken comfort for connection. Marcus would whisper, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And that's where freedom begins. To detach is not to hate, it's to see clearly. It's to recognize that peace costs less than chaos and solitude costs less than self-betrayal. The price of attachment to the wrong person is your purpose, your confidence, your calm. And once you pay that price long enough, you'll understand, and walking away isn't loss. It's liberation. When you let go, you reclaim your strength. When you stop chasing, you start choosing. And when you detach from what weakens you, you make room for what strengthens you. The Stoic way to protect yourself. Marcus Aurelius didn't teach avoidance. He taught awareness. He didn't say to hide from life's challenges. He said to meet them with virtue. So how does a man protect himself from the hidden poisons of low-value behavior? Not through bitterness, not through walls, but through discipline, clarity, and peace. A Stoic man guards three things above all: his time, his energy, and his emotions. He understands that where his attention goes, his life follows. So he no longer invests in people who bring confusion instead of clarity, attention instead of affection, and drama instead of depth. He doesn't react. He reflects. He doesn't argue, he observes. He doesn't chase. He chooses. Marcus said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So he filters his thoughts as carefully as he filters his company. When someone disrespects his boundaries, he doesn't explode, he exits. When someone tests his peace, he doesn't debate, he disappears. Because he knows that the strongest response is calm detachment. The Stoic way isn't about building walls. It's about building standards. It's about learning that silence is an answer, distance is a decision, and peace is a form of power. A man rooted in self-respect can never be shaken by temporary attention. He understands that real strength is not loud. It's quiet, deliberate, and steady. Protecting yourself doesn't mean distrusting everyone. It means trusting your intuition when it whispers, "This isn't right." It means honoring your worth even when someone else refuses to. And it means never abandoning your values just to feel wanted. The Stoic protection isn't physical, it's spiritual. It's the armor of awareness, the shield of self-control, and the sword of silence. It's not revenge, it's release. When a low-value woman realizes she can no longer disturb your peace, she loses her power. And that's the moment you win, not by defeating her but by mastering yourself. The quiet victory. Marcus Aurelius ruled one of the greatest empires in history, yet his true conquest was internal. He mastered not nations but emotions, and that is the path every man must walk, from chaos to calm, from need to knowing, from reaction to reason. The world will always test you. Some people will love you for your strength, others will resent it. But as the Stoics remind us, what matters is not what they do, but what you choose to be. So when you meet the signs of a low-value woman, the emotional chaos, manipulation, disrespect, vanity, or false independence, remember, you are not there to change her. You are there to recognize her, learn, and walk away wiser. Your peace is your empire, your discipline is your crown, and your silence, when used with wisdom, is your greatest weapon. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." So do not meet chaos with chaos. Meet it with calm. Do not meet manipulation with anger. Meet it with understanding. Because a man who can remain grounded in a storm, unshaken by temptation and unbothered by drama, is not just a man of value. He is a man of virtue. And in a world that glorifies noise, his peace will always be power.